So let us now read from another section of In Love at Ease, Everyday Spirituality with Pramukh Swami Maharaj. This book was gifted to me by one of our Sangis, Sky Guardian. And Sky Guardian grew up with this organization, which Swami Shri was once a president and guru of. Oh wow! I accidentally flipped to some pictures. I didn't realize this book had pictures. That's very exciting. Just for fun, although it's a little bit of a spoiler, since we're not at this part of the book yet. Here's a picture of Swami Shri giving flowers to his beloved. All of the proceeds of this book go to help tribal education in India. So we're in the second chapter, In Love. The second part of this chapter, Atmanishta, self-love, learning how Swami Shri inspired others to love themselves, and he did so by also being a role model of self-love himself. Much love, MJ. Bye-bye. And hello, Tinkerbell. Meow. The first marker of transcending the body and mind is to not register the pains associated with either. It is one thing for me to write about it, but another thing to try to live it. One can only appreciate this behemoth of a spiritual task once one begins the journey. How many times in a day do we feel cramps, spasms, headaches, or sniffles? Feeling it is only human. Not letting that feeling get in the way of continuing to work, serve, or smile, however, is Atmanishta, self-love. It is constant and consistent Atmanishta that allows for one to relish in a state that is unaffected by the pains of the lower realities of our being. It had been a few days since Swami Shri's quintuple bypass. 1 in 100,000 people develop a complication called pleural effusion, a buildup of fluid in the thoracic cavity after getting a bypass surgery. Swami Shri happened to be that one person. Good night, Marlin. Amrutananda Swami was pouring some water for Swami Shri by the side of his bed. He leaned over to put the glass to Swami Shri's lips. He felt something wet on the bed. He looked down and noticed that Swami Shri's upper garment, sheets, and comforter were soaked. He raised the garment and saw liquid oozing from Swami Shri's surgical site. He was frightened. He recalled almost jumping and dropping the glass of water on the floor. Swami Shri was calm and collected. I am not sure what this is, but it has been trickling for a few hours now. I thought I would bring it up when the doctors next checked up on me. Dr. Mahendra Bhai and Yogi Trivedi Swami examined Swami Shri and called Dr. Subramaniam, the heart surgeon who had operated on Swami Shri. He advised them to get an X-ray done immediately. Arrangements were quickly made, and Swami Shri was rushed to Queens MRI and imaging services in Queens, New York. Dr. Mahindra Bhai recalls his fastest car ride into Queens County from Westchester County, a whopping 29 minutes for a commute that would have typically taken close to an hour. Niranjan Bhai, the owner of the lab, had prepared the equipment in the meantime. After the X-ray, Swami Shri spoke to Niranjan Bhai about the business and his family. He mentioned that Mahant Swami, who is the current guru of BAPS, the Swami Narayan Sanstha, had toured the imaging lab a few years back. Swami Shri immediately sensed Niranjan Bhai's desire to show him the lab. Really? Well, then I must too see your lab. Lead the way. Swami Shri asked for a few flowers to be brought and went from one examination room to another, sprinkling flowers to bless the lab. The sadhus, the monks and doctors, tried to rush Swami Shri back to his residence to rest. He was in no state to tour the facility. After all, it had only been a few days since having a major open heart surgery. But Swami Shri did not register the pain and discomfort. He was too busy loving. Niranjan Bhai can recall Swami Shri's face, serene as ever. No one could have guessed that the Guru had been rushed to his clinic for a complication related to a recent bypass surgery. The attendants asked Swami Shri why he had not mentioned anything sooner. His response was Atmanishta exemplified. It was not troubling me enough to trouble anyone else. I noticed it, but it did not affect me much. I continued remembering my Guru and Hare Krishna Maharaj, his Ishta Devata. There was almost this sense of apathy for the pains felt by his physical body. It was clear that he felt the pain, but he did not experience it because he acknowledged his self as the higher reality. It's funny you mentioned Neem Koroli Baba, Third Eye Willie. Our meditation will be related to him actually in just a moment. But back to the reading. Dr. Nilesh Patel and Dr. Tejas Patel had served as Swami Shri's cardiologists at different points in his lifetime. Both have noted in awe how Swami Shri's response to pain was different than any other patient they have treated. As physicians, they were aware of the magnitude of the pain that Swami Shri must have felt, but medically they could not make sense of how he did not react to the pain. While speaking to a sabha, a kind of sangha, an association, during the Guru Purnima festival in London in 2000, Dr. Nilesh Patel narrated his observations of Swami Shri's face during one such instance. One day, after his bypass surgery, Swami Shri needed an arterial puncture to address a complication. Dr. Nilesh Patel observed Swami Shri's face throughout the painful procedure. Swami Shri was in conversation with one of his personal attendants, and his eyes and face did not so much as flinch. Dr. Patel noticed not a single wrinkle form on his forehead. He was in pain, but did not show it. The doctor was awestruck. I often heard Swami Shri speak of rising above the physicality, the physical reality of the body. I dismissed it as spiritual lingo, but it was on that day I came to appreciate the practical lessons of the Atman. Hello, Cryptic. Dr. Tejas Patel led the team of doctors who performed Swami Shri's pacemaker implantation in 2012. He recalls how uneasy he was to perform the entire procedure without general anesthesia. But it was not advisable given Swami Shri's age and health condition. Throughout the procedure, Dr. Tejas Patel observed Swami Shri's face for signs of discomfort, but was unable to find one. He did not hear a groan either. After Swami Shri passed away, Dr. Tejas Patel shared this story at a memorial sabha in Ahmedabad. He added, "I am an avid reader of the Srimad Bhagavad Gita. I have read the second chapter on the introduction to yoga and contemplated on what it means to be sthita prajna, equiposed and stable. Swami Shri lived these lessons of realizing the Atman and transcending the body. This is probably why he never complained to me as a patient. He always said that he was feeling okay. He never even registered the pains of his body. It seems impossible to believe, but I witnessed it in his presence." Let's pause our reading of In Love at Ease there for now. Thank you for listening. Sometimes being so much in essence of that love that you are a soul, Atman, beyond this body and mind, can make you go through the pains of the body and mind with ease.